The Holy See's shadow network, the world's most powerful intelligence system. For centuries the rumors have persisted. Does the smallest country on earth control the largest spy network? Forget the Swiss Guard. The Vatican's true agents are not assassins. They are cardinals, and their secrets could change the world. The secret and the hidden power. The Vatican, the spiritual and administrative heart of the Catholic Church, is also the world's smallest sovereign state, possessing immense moral authority and a uniquely powerful global reach. This singular status has long fueled one of the most persistent and intriguing modern myths. Does the Holy See operate a clandestine intelligence service, a hidden network of spies and agents, often referred to in fiction as the Vatican Secret Service? The idea of priests and cardinals engaging in espionage, high-stakes political maneuvering and cloak-and-dagger operations is irresistible to novelists and filmmakers. Yet what is the reality behind the scarlet cloaks and hidden archives? Does the Vatican truly have a functional equivalent of the CIA or MI6? Or is its intelligence system something far older, subtler, and more pervasive? This analysis will rigorously separate fact from fiction. We commit to exploring the legitimate, historical need of the Holy See for high-level information. We will define what Vatican intelligence actually means in a diplomatic context, and show how this unique sovereign entity gathers, analyzes, and uses global data. Our focus will shift from the sensationalist myths to the genuine, powerful, and publicly known mechanisms, the diplomatic network that serve as the Pope's true eyes and ears around the globe, making it perhaps the most effective, yet misunderstood, intelligence-gathering operation in the world. Defining Vatican intelligence. The Pope's eyes and ears. To address the question of a Vatican intelligence agency, we must first define intelligence within the specific context of the Holy See. Unlike state intelligence agencies, whose primary purpose is national security, military advantage, or counter-terrorism, the Vatican's central mission is pastoral, spiritual, and diplomatic, seeking peace, defending religious freedom, and maintaining communication with local churches. Therefore, Vatican intelligence is fundamentally about information gathering and strategic analysis related to religious, political, and social conditions worldwide. This information serves two critical functions: diplomatic insight, to inform the Pope and the Secretariat of State on complex geopolitical situations, allowing the Holy See to mediate conflicts, lobby governments on human rights, and align its international policy effectively. Pastoral planning, to monitor the well-being of Catholic communities, assess persecution levels, and determine where church aid and resources are most urgently needed. It is crucial to state clearly that the Vatican does not maintain a centralized armed espionage force dedicated to paramilitary operations, sabotage, or assassination. The hallmarks of fictional secret services. The Holy See's power comes from moral authority and information, not force. Their method is one of sustained, deep observation, not clandestine infiltration. Their goal is not to overthrow governments, but to secure the ability of the local church to operate freely. This nuanced definition sets the stage for understanding the true and far more powerful structure that serves the Pope. The unmatched network. The role of Apostolic Nuncios. The backbone of Vatican intelligence is its diplomatic corps, a publicly known and globally recognized network that is in effect the world's largest and most effective system for collecting high-level, localized information. This system is the expansive, operational arm of the Holy See's information apparatus. The Pope maintains full diplomatic relations with over 80 countries and international organizations. In each of these nations, the Holy See maintains an embassy known as an Apostolic Nuncios, headed by an Apostolic Nuncio. These nuncios are the Pope's ambassadors, holding the rank of Archbishop. They are typically veteran Vatican diplomats who have spent decades serving in various roles across the globe. The nuncio's role is unique. They are simultaneously a diplomat to the host government and the Pope's personal representative to the local Catholic hierarchy. This dual role provides them with unparalleled access. Governmental access. They interact with the highest levels of political power, gaining insight into state policies, political stability, and international alliances. Local church access. They receive comprehensive, unfiltered reports from local bishops, priests, and religious orders, providing grassroots information on economic hardship, social unrest, and persecution that official government channels often miss or deliberately obscure. This means the Vatican is receiving timely, first-hand reports from highly trained observers living within virtually every major nation on Earth. An intelligence-gathering capability that few, if any, major state powers can match. Their intelligence is collected openly through established relationships and institutional channels, making the Nunciature network the ultimate eyes and ears of the papacy. The Real Analysis Hub, the section for relations with states. While the nuncios collect the data in the field, the Center for the Strategic Analysis and Deployment of this information resides within the Secretariat of State, specifically the section for relations with states, often colloquially referred to as the Vatican's Foreign Ministry. This organization is the true operational hub of Vatican foreign policy and intelligence processing. The Cardinal Secretary of State is arguably the second most powerful figure in the Vatican hierarchy and the direct equivalent of a prime minister or foreign minister. He supervises the entire diplomatic corps and controls the flow of sensitive political information directly to the Pope. The section for relations with states functions much like a high-level foreign policy think tank and intelligence assessment agency. Information aggregation. All reports, telegrams, and analyses flowing in from the 80 nunciatures are aggregated, translated, cross-referenced, and assessed here. Strategic analysis. The curious expert diplomats and analysts evaluate the information, filtering out local biases and synthesizing it into comprehensive briefings for the Pope. This allows the Holy See to predict political trends, anticipate threats to religious communities, and prepare diplomatic responses. Policy implementation. Once a decision is made by the Pope, this section is responsible for instructing the nuncios on the diplomatic lines to take, whether to apply pressure, offer mediation, or voice official concern. The efficiency of this centralized, highly curated system ensures that the Pope's decisions on international affairs are informed by a unique and vast pool of global, localized, and ethically sensitive information. Historical secrets. World War II and the Golden Silence. The period surrounding World War II and the immediate Cold War provides the most compelling historical evidence of the Holy See's intelligence capacity and the ethical dilemmas it presented. During the war, the Vatican city-state, though neutral, became an unprecedented information nexus. The Pope and his staff received information from all sides. Allied diplomats, Axis envoys, resistance fighters, clergy operating in occupied territories, and Jewish groups seeking aid. The Vatican's physical location became a crucial communication point, allowing the transmission of encrypted messages, rescue pleas, and intelligence between warring factions. This created a highly active, though non-military, intelligence environment. The infamous controversy surrounding the wartime Pope Pius XII and the Holocaust is inextricably linked to this intelligence gathering. His public silence on the atrocities has been debated for decades. Vatican documents suggest that Pius XII's decision was deeply informed by the conflicting and terrifying intelligence he received. The threat of retaliation. Intelligence indicated that a public, explicit condemnation of the Nazi regime could lead to violent, widespread retaliation against Catholic clergy and institutions in German-occupied Europe, potentially increasing the slaughter of Jewish people by removing a perceived religious constraint. The priority of rescue. The Vatican prioritized a decentralized, covert network of rescue and aid, relying on local priests and religious orders to hide Jews and issue false papers, an operation that required a deep flow of covert information and coordination, often referred to by some historians as a secret service of charity. This era demonstrates that while the Vatican may not have possessed a fictionalized spy agency, it certainly operated one of the world's most critical information and rescue networks under extreme duress, making choices based on tragic intelligence assessments. The Cold War foe, the battle against communism. The Cold War marked the period when the Vatican's need for clandestine information became most acute, transforming its diplomatic efforts into a crucial form of counterintelligence. The conflict between the Holy See and the atheistic communist bloc was fundamentally a struggle for the survival of the Church in Eastern Europe and beyond. Communist regimes led by the Soviet Union actively targeted the Catholic Church, viewing it as a rival power structure and an ideological threat. Priests and bishops were imprisoned, churches were nationalized, and internal dissent was ruthlessly suppressed. In response, the Vatican focused its intelligence efforts on two main objectives: maintaining the chain of command, establishing covert lines of communication with Church of Silence figures, bishops and priests operating underground in countries like Poland, Czechoslovakia, and Hungary. This required immense secrecy to bypass KGB and Stasi surveillance. The Vatican had to secretly appoint bishops, often without the knowledge of the local government, to ensure the continuity of the church hierarchy. Assessing persecution, gathering accurate, verifiable intelligence on the extent of religious persecution and the conditions of imprisoned clergy. This information was vital for Pope John Paul II's subsequent strategic engagement with the Eastern Bloc, which played a pivotal role in the eventual collapse of communism. This era was defined by constant infiltration attempts. Foreign intelligence services, particularly the KGB, sought to plant agents, or moles, within the Vatican itself. The most sensational example of this paranoia centered around the 1981 assassination attempt on Pope John Paul II. While the official investigation concluded the gunman acted alone, persistent speculation, often fueled by Western and Eastern intelligence sources, suggested a Bulgarian connection linked to the KGB, highlighting the high-stakes, real-world intelligence warfare that surrounded the Holy See. Popular myths, the Swiss Guard and the PIOE legend. The dramatic nature of Vatican life has given rise to popular legends that conflate security, diplomacy, and actual espionage. It is necessary to dismantle these persistent fictionalized concepts to understand the reality. One common myth involves the Swiss Guard, often depicted in popular culture as the Pope's secret agents or an elite special forces unit. Their real function is far more ceremonial and protective. They are primarily responsible for the immediate personal security of the Pope, guarding the entrances to Vatican City, and providing solemn uniformed presence at papal liturgies. They undergo rigorous training, but it is focused on protection and traditional protocol, not clandestine intelligence gathering or foreign operations. A more elaborate myth frequently found in modern spy novels is the existence of a highly sophisticated shadowy agency with acronyms like PIOE, Papal Intelligence and Operations Establishment. No such organization has ever existed in reality. These names are purely fictional devices used to create a compelling narrative framework. The confusion often stems from the Vatican's actual complexity and discretion. Its structures, like the aforementioned section for relations with states, are highly effective, but are staffed by diplomats and scholars, not operatives in trench coats. Similarly, financial scandals surrounding the Institute for Religious Works, IOR, often called the Vatican Bank, are sometimes misrepresented as evidence of secret intelligence funding or money laundering for covert operations. While the IOR has faced genuine issues regarding transparency and financial crime in the past, these events should be characterized as matters of financial management, corruption, and regulatory oversight, distinct from the organized geopolitical collection of intelligence. Religious and spiritual intelligence. The Vatican possesses unique, non-traditional sources of intelligence that give it an informational edge unavailable to secular governments. This is the realm of religious intelligence, a deep understanding of grassroots sentiment and spiritual trends. Global religious orders. The vast network of Catholic religious orders, the Jesuits, Franciscans, Salesians, and countless others, serves as an unparalleled source of information. These priests, nuns, and brothers live in the most remote, impoverished, or politically sensitive areas of the world, often where no Western embassy dare tread. They report back to their own superiors and ultimately, through hierarchical channels, information about local conditions, social injustices, political shifts, and human rights abuses reaches the Vatican. This provides a deep, granular level of social and political data. Theology as foresight. Vatican analysts use theological and philosophical frameworks to anticipate the behavior of individuals and states motivated by religious ideologies. This deep understanding of motive, the why behind actions, is a form of prophetic intelligence that secular agencies often lack. Ethical boundary. The seal of confession. An essential ethical restraint exists. The seal of confession is absolute and inviolable. Information disclosed during the sacrament of penance, even if it were to pertain to a terrorist plot or state secret, cannot be used, disclosed, or acted upon by any cleric for any purpose, including intelligence. This constraint underlines that, ultimately, the Vatican's operational ethics supersede any secular intelligence imperative. Internal security, counter-espionage, and archival defense. While the Vatican is an open source for collecting information, it must simultaneously protect its own secrets and defend itself against infiltration, a functional form of counterintelligence. Throughout the Cold War, the Vatican was a prime target for penetration by foreign intelligence agencies. Documents show Soviet and Eastern Bloc intelligence actively seeking to compromise priests, plant recording devices, and recruit curia officials to gain insight into papal policy and diplomatic strategies. Protecting the sanctity of the Holy See's internal discussions and decision-making processes became a serious security imperative. Key aspects of internal defense include personnel vetting. Though informal by modern state standards, new recruits to the diplomatic corps and sensitive curia positions are subjected to extensive, long-term vetting processes, relying on background checks and character assessments from their home bishops and superiors. The Vatican Apostolic Archive, formerly Secret Archive. This vast repository of historical diplomatic correspondence and sensitive documents represents a massive target. Its rigorous security and controlled access are not merely for historical preservation, but are acts of information defense, protecting centuries of papal diplomacy and state secrets from foreign eyes. Modern digital security. In the 21st century, the focus has shifted to cybersecurity. The Vatican is vulnerable to sophisticated state-level digital attacks, seeking to harvest digital communications. Protecting its internal networks and electronic communication channels is the modern form of its counter-espionage effort. The need for this defense confirms that the Vatican, despite its spiritual mission, operates under the same threat models as any other sovereign state. Conclusion. Spies in scarlet cloaks and the power of transparency. We conclude that the legend of a conventional secret Vatican spy agency is a powerful, persistent myth fueled by history and sensationalism. The reality, however, is far more subtle, effective, and unique. The Holy See does not need a shadow agency because it possesses the most effective form of intelligence gathering available. A public, legally sanctioned, deeply embedded diplomatic network operating under the guise of pastoral care. The nuncios, religious orders, and the centralized Secretariat of State collectively constitute a formidable, ethical intelligence structure focused on information for the greater spiritual and diplomatic good. The Vatican's intelligence is defined by three key characteristics. Ubiquity, not stealth. Its reach is global, operating openly through the Church's universal structures. Moral motive. Its collection is driven by humanitarian, pastoral, and peacemaking imperatives, not secular power projection. The strength of weakness, its neutrality and lack of military power force it to rely purely on information analysis and moral influence, making its intelligence all the more crucial. The story of Vatican intelligence is ultimately the story of a sovereign entity that uses the enduring power of its religious and diplomatic infrastructure to gather the necessary data to navigate the complexities of international politics, proving that the most powerful form of information gathering can be achieved not with weapons and deception, but with transparency and persistent presence.